Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand. Hello.
Hey guys.
Today we're going to be talking about some of our not so favorite things. So, that
fears and frustrations.
Fears and frustrations. In fact, the top 5 fears and frustrations. We've been talking to people all across the world for the last 8 years as BrandFace, and talking to them about things that are holding them back from not only a great business, but a great life. And then we narrow that down. Okay, well, how do you grow your business? How do you attain the things you want in life? And that's really through great marketing, attracting the right people into your business to help you grow that. So our topic today is the 5 fears and frustrations that are holding you back from massive marketing success, because that propels everything, guys. All right. I'm Tanya Eberhardt, founder of BrandFace. We help business stars differentiate themselves, and we do that through personal branding.
Hey guys, I'm Michael Carr. I'm the COO of BrandFace. I was actually a client before I became a partner in the company. We're the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe. So thank you for joining us here today. We're talking about 5 top fears and frustrations holding you back from massive marketing success.
Okay, well, the first one is really what I feel is like the greatest mistake that people make in business. They have a fear of focus. So in other words, you're so afraid that if you focus on a specific area of business or a customer type, the potential customer will decide not to do business with you, right? So you try to, as a result of that, then you just try to market yourself to everyone, because you're thinking, well, if this message reaches so many people, then the people in the market for what I'm doing, my quote profession, are going to come forward, right? But what if they're not the right people? What if they don't even come forward because you're not giving them a compelling enough reason to come forward? So when you market kind of like everybody else, which is what happens when you don't focus, then you end up in what we call the sea of sameness, and really nothing stands out at that point. So, and that leads you into what we call this templated world, because people tend to market exactly the same. The websites look the same. The business cards look the same. The social media posts and pages look the same. And it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. That tends to happen when you don't differentiate yourself in that industry. So a real quick story, years ago, before BrandFace became BrandFace, I was sitting in and had an integrative marketing company at the time. And I was sitting at my desk one day and started thinking, I could do business with anybody that walks through that door, because we started out with great focus, but over time we spread ourselves too wide, right? We became the company that could do almost anything for anyone. And the great thing about that is you can do almost anything for anyone. The really horrific thing about that is you can do almost anything for anyone. So that meant we were no longer special. We did not stand out. We did not differentiate ourselves from everyone else who was also trying to do everything for everyone. So at that point, I looked at myself and thought, what are the things I'm most passionate about in this world? And through almost 20, by that time, it was about 23, 24 years, I had had this common thread of personal branding through everything that I had done. That was really where my passion was. I would take business owners and leaders and to help them become the face of their business, help them put their story out there in a way that was very compelling and separated them from others in their industry. And that's really where BrandFace came from. I wanted to help people be the best face of their brand. And so knowing that and facing that dead on, facing the same challenges that you guys know likely are facing because you have that fear of focus, I was there. I was there. I speak from experience. I overcame that. And today we have such a very strong presence across about 6-7 countries now, 43 states in the US. And it's all about 100% personal branding as the face of your business. That's what it is. So fear of focus needs to be something that you have to let go. You have to focus in. Otherwise, how do you know who it is you're talking to in your marketing? You first need to know exactly who you're trying to attract.
Hey, and number 2 is the fear of competition. This is big. This is big. Like, if you know what sets you apart, you have no competition, because there's literally nobody else like you. It's the one thing that makes personal branding so spectacular, is there's nobody else like you. There is no competition to you. And I can say this personally in business, that when I was able to actually achieve that thought process, that I need to keep up with my competition just to sort of know what's going on in my landscape around me. But there's no competition, and I don't chase competition, and I'm not trying to be anybody else. And I'm not trying to grow my business to somebody else's level. When I focused on my own, that's when it really began to take off. And knowing and understanding that principle, that there is nobody else like you. You bring a unique proposition. No matter what your business is, you bring that unique proposition to that business and the acumen and the culture of that business, right? It's important to be aware of your competitors, like I said earlier, but your business is not defined by who they are. And if you're chasing them, you're wasting your time. It's defined by 5 important questions that every great brand must answer. Number 1, what sets you apart? What makes you different? Number 2, who do you serve? Number 3, how do you serve them? Number 4, what qualifies you to serve them? And number 5, and most important, how does it make their life better? If you will focus all of your marketing on those 5 questions, then, and leave your competitors behind, turn blinders on to anybody you used to call competitor, then that is the fix for the fear of competition, right? The fix is to be aware, to learn from others, but don't focus on them or their business, and to stay focused on you and the 5 questions that you need every one of your potential customers.
All right. Number 3, I am sure that every one of you on this video right now will understand. It is the fear of overwhelm, because you're hit so many times a day with the latest shiny marketing solution, right? This one's going to turn your business around. This one's going to position you like no one else. This one's going to help you gain traction in this area or this area. And it's very overwhelming to try to keep up with that when there are so many things and you're told you have to have a TikTok strategy, you have to have an Instagram strategy, you have to do email marketing, you have to do some events. That's a lot to keep up with, guys.
It is.
And
it's a tennis match.
It truly is. So I want to speak to this for a moment, and the advice that we give to people who come to us with those challenges. So first of all, do one thing. Start with one thing and do it well. Mm-hmm. Whether you want to master email marketing, master a drip campaign, master follow-up, whether you want to master a TikTok strategy, master sending out regular, unique greeting cards that land in people's mailboxes the old snail mail way, which I think are hugely effective. Whether you want to master having a sponsorship at certain local events so that you're always present in your local community, whatever that is, start with one thing. Really master it, and whatever you choose, just be better at it than anybody else so that it doesn't get so overwhelming. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be at a dinner party and say that you're not on TikTok. Okay. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Hey, I'm not on TikTok. I'm scared to death.
You are.
Well, I am on TikTok, but if I go to my app in TikTok, I don't get nothing else done for the rest of the year. So I'll stay away.
That's so true. That's so true. But it's okay to not be active in all of those things. Watch them, right? It doesn't mean you can't do 5 or 6 things. As a matter of fact, we have a mini course called This Perfect Marketing Plan, and it's 6 things that we believe everybody should do in their mm-hmm. marketing repertoire. Mm-hmm. But what we need to understand is a lot of those mesh together. A lot of those, you're creating content that is multi-purpose, that can be shared across multiple platforms and in different ways. But really just go with your gut and your heart. And if you love making videos and you have this fun presence, or you're very motivating and inspiring, or you're very informational. Maybe you have like a teacher's heart, if you like doing those kind of things, that's exactly what you need to focus on. And you can multi-purpose a lot of that content. You can do short videos, you can do longer videos, and they will fit somewhere, trust me, right? But do what you really love doing. If you're not into video at all, maybe you want to go on, you want to make some podcast appearances. Maybe you want to start your own podcast that's audio only. Maybe you want to write some articles or blog posts to get your viewpoint and your brand out there. There's all different ways to market ourselves, and you need to just go with your comfort level first. Yes, you will eventually need to address some things that make you uncomfortable. That's okay. That's how we grow. But start with what makes you comfortable, and that relieves a lot of that overwhelm.
It does. I mean, it's just really important. The number 4 thing that is a top fear and frustration is the fear of failure. Get over it. Get over it, guys. Listen, I thought about this. Failure is literally redefining a circumstance in your life. Okay. So if there's anything that you feel like in your business that I have failed, or I have failed at businesses, or all the businesses that failed that I have before this, you have to recategorize those, because if you are still in business today, even if it's not in the same businesses as you failed at, you were still successful. Okay. You are still successful. And so you got to push that away. And in fact, I was talking to a very good friend of ours, Alex, the other day. He was on our podcast, and he was talking about this. It's Alex Sanfilippo, really good friend of ours. And he says, well, I did this, but I failed at it. And then I said, well, I was going to go into this business, and, I failed at that too. And then he said, I got into this business, and I realized I didn't really enjoy that business. So I failed at that too. And so as we talked on, and I said, really, Alex, when you think about it, you didn't fail at any of those things, right? Because now in your very successful business, you are able to take those things that you learned, even the one that you learned you didn't really enjoy doing that business, you still learned and was able to apply that acumen to the very things that you were doing now. Okay. So I really want to encourage you guys to get over the fear of failure. You know what I mean? That's not even should not even be on your radar. I have a friend that's really good at blackjack, right? Or at least I thought he was. And so I go to him, like every time we go to Vegas, or every time we go to a casino anywhere in the United States or in Canada or anywhere we was at, he'd be winning like $3 grand, $4 grand, 10 grand, 12 grand. I'm like, dude, how do you do this? And he goes, oh, it's simple. I said, are you counting cards? He's like, no. And I said, you got a strategy? Are you hitting on the 16? Like, what are you doing, dude? And he's like, no. He says, I really bet against myself. And I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, if I go on a losing streak, I start doubling up on my bets because I know I'm fixing to hit. Well, when you think about it, he is betting against his own failure because he knows that statistically speaking, he's going to win at some point. And, although I wouldn't suggest this as a natural strategy, especially in business, it's still the acumen will still fit for the fix. Okay. When you go into a business and it does not pan out the way that you wanted it or the way you planned it, if you planned your worked your plan and it didn't work out, embrace it, learn from it, and then turn around and use that acumen. And I guarantee you, anybody that's watching this in any industry that you've been in before, you can look at that and go, you know what? He's exactly right. I didn't do good at that landscaping business, but I applied that industry to my mortgage business and I killed it. Or I applied what I learned to my painting business and I killed it. Or you get the point. So embrace it, learn from it. Winston Churchill said one time, I never failed at anything. And a reporter trying to embarrass him called out and says, that's not true. According to your records, you failed the second grade. He said, I got 2 chances to get it right. He didn't fail the second grade. Or he went on to the third grade.
One of my favorites.
He's exactly right. And that's why you need to look at it.
That's so true. All right. Number 5 is, many of you have this too, fear of investment.
This is a big one.
Well, why? First, you got to ask yourself why you have this. You've been burned. Who among us has not?
Or you might have burned yourself.
That's true. That's very true. Could be a whole other video topic too. But you feel like you've tried it all. Everything, every marketing platform that's come your way, all the shinies, all the not so shinies, you've tried them. They did not work, right? So the first thing I'm going to encourage you to do is stop blaming the marketing platforms. Now, marketing platform people, you're going to love me. The marketing platforms generally work. They're just a tool,
They do.
right? They're
They
a
do,
tool.
actually.
And as long as your ideal customer's on the other end of that tool, the way to get the message out to them, then that marketing platform should work, right? What's probably failing you is the message and image that you're putting out there on that marketing platform. It's are you reaching the right people with that platform? And then what are you saying to them? How are you presenting yourself to get them to choose you over everyone else? And honestly, that is a lot of what, where marketing quote failure comes in, is the message and image you're putting out there, not necessarily the marketing tool that you're using it on. Sometimes it is, yes, but most of the time it's the message and the image. But here's where the investment part comes in. Yes, you're burned. Yes, you spent so much money and you're like, okay, if one more person comes to me with this, marketing mess, I'm going to scream, right? Well, honestly, it all begins with investing in you. First of all, it's not investing in a platform. That becomes much easier when you have your brand built, when your story is out there and you have everything you need to express that story on various marketing platforms, then it becomes so much easier. So if you're going to invest in something, invest in what makes you unique. Invest in learning exactly who it is you want to attract into your business and your life. And invest in, what does that now look like? How do I present that to the world? Because every marketing platform out there is going to continue to either be very lackluster or fail you at worst, unless you, first of all, have your image and message, your story, your brand ready to go out there. So start with what matters most, and it will actually define what type of marketing you do and where you do it. All right. So let's just retract those for a second. So it's fear of focus, fear of competition. Absolutely. Fear of competition.
Don't care about your competition.
Fear of overwhelm.
Focus again and narrow down. Eat the elephant one bite at a time. Find something you're good at.
Fear of failure.
Don't be afraid. Like, redefine that. It's not even a word. It's not even a word. It's a learning process.
I like that. And fear of investment.
Invest in yourself and think about what it is that you're investing in, and then do it. That's the most important thing. I've done it. I've gotten into businesses before. I want to tell a story. I got in a vending business one time, and I hawked my former wife's car to buy a bunch of vending machines. I paid $10,000 for these vending machines. I did. I made $432 off of it. I worked my tail end off. I made $432. You talk about a failure. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I learned? I learned I wasn't good at vending business. And so I never got into vending business again. Now, here's the thing. I could have pulled that out. I could have worked out. What I found out about myself in that investment was I didn't like the vending business. It wasn't that I couldn't make it successful. It was I didn't know myself enough when I got into it, right? So don't be afraid of those investments. And when you do that investment, work that investment, okay?
Absolutely. Because that is another one that we'll do an entire video on in the future, is when you invest in something, actually do it.
Yeah,
right?
do it.
Give it your all, because part of the time that you feel like you're failing out there, your marketing is not working and your business is not growing, is because you're not actually taking the advice and doing the things that you need to make it happen. So, all right. So if you have questions for us, any question at all, but also if you want to discuss your brand and figure out what exactly is it going to take to get you where you can be in this position, so that you have that brand and story ready to go at a moment's notice, and your marketing then soars and brings you massive marketing success, go to discussyourbrand.com and we can get you started there.
Yep. All right, guys, listen, thank you for your time. We know it's valuable. We do this because it's all about prosperity. And when we say prosperity, we're not just talking about money, although that's an important part of it. What we're talking about when we say prosperity is the 360 of an abundant life that we truly wish for each and every one of you guys. We know here at BrandFace that prosperity favors the bold. So we say be bold, especially with your brand, folks. So get ready for it. It's going to be big. And thank you, Ms. Tanya. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael. All right, guys, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you here next week, same time.
Bye, guys.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.